Understanding interpersonal goals. Life is a constant dance of interactions, isn't it? From a quick chat with a barista to a deep conversation with a loved one, we're always navigating the currents of connection. Sometimes these interactions flow smoothly, bringing joy and understanding. Other times, they feel like a struggle, leaving us frustrated, misunderstood, or even hurt. It's in these moments of friction that our interpersonal skills truly get tested. And often, we find ourselves wishing we had a better roadmap for communicating effectively. This section is all about understanding that roadmap. Think about it. How often do you walk away from a conversation feeling like you didn't quite get what you wanted, or perhaps you sacrificed your own feelings just to keep the peace? Maybe you said something you later regretted, or you held back entirely, only to stew in resentment. These common experiences highlight why developing strong interpersonal skills isn't just a nice to have. It's fundamental to building a life worth living, a core principle of dialectical behavior therapy. Our ability to connect, assert ourselves, and maintain healthy relationships directly impacts our emotional well-being and sense of fulfillment. DBT offers a powerful framework for approaching these interactions with purpose and skill. Instead of just reacting to situations, we learn to identify our specific goals in any given moment. This isn't about being manipulative or insincere. Rather, it's about becoming intentional in our communication, understanding what we truly want to achieve, and then choosing the most effective strategies to get there. It's about being a skillful participant in your own life, rather than a passive observer or an accidental provocateur. At its heart, interpersonal effectiveness in DBT revolves around three main types of goals. Imagine these as three different compass points, each guiding you toward a specific outcome in your interactions. First, there's the goal of getting what you want, often called objective effectiveness. Second, we consider relationship effectiveness, which focuses on keeping and improving the connections we have with others. Finally, there's self-respect effectiveness, ensuring that we act in ways that uphold our values and maintain our dignity. These three pillars form the foundation of navigating the complex world of human connection. Let's dive a bit deeper into what objective effectiveness truly means. This goal is all about successfully making requests, saying no when you need to, or getting your opinions heard and respected. It's about achieving a specific outcome that benefits you. For instance, if you need a coworker to help you with a project, your objective effectiveness goal is to clearly ask for that help and increase the chances of them agreeing. It's about being clear, direct, and persuasive enough to get your needs met in a way that respects both yourself and the other person involved. Achieving objective effectiveness can be surprisingly difficult for many of us. Perhaps you've experienced the fear of rejection, the worry that asking for something will make you seem needy, or the discomfort of setting a boundary. Maybe you struggle to articulate your needs clearly, or you find yourself backing down when faced with resistance. These challenges are completely normal, but they often prevent us from getting what we need and deserve, leaving us feeling powerless or unheard. Recognizing these hurdles is the first step toward overcoming them with DBT skills. Next, we have relationship effectiveness, which guides us in preserving and strengthening our connections with others, even when we're in conflict or making a difficult request. This goal emphasizes acting in ways that foster trust, show respect, and maintain the goodwill of the people important to us. It means communicating in a way that doesn't damage the relationship, even if the conversation is tough. For example, you need to tell a friend that you can't attend their party, but you still want them to feel valued and understood as your friend. Maintaining relationship effectiveness can be a tightrope walk. Sometimes, out of a desire to keep the peace, we might sacrifice our own needs or opinions, leading to resentment down the line. Other times, in our eagerness to get our point across, we might unintentionally offend or alienate someone, harming the very bond we wish to protect. Finding that sweet spot where you can be honest and direct while still showing care and respect is a nuanced skill, but it's crucial for healthy, lasting connections. Finally, self-respect effectiveness is about acting in a way that aligns with your personal values and preserves your sense of integrity. This means standing up for yourself, honoring your beliefs, and not compromising your principles, even when it's uncomfortable or challenging. It's about walking away from an interaction feeling good about how you handled yourself, knowing that you acted in line with who you are and what you believe is right. For example, if your values dictate honesty, then acting with self-respect means being truthful, even if it's difficult. Protecting your self-respect can be one of the hardest goals to achieve, especially when it means saying no to someone you care about or standing firm in the face of pressure. It's easy to give in to avoid conflict, to tell a small lie to make things easier, or to let someone walk all over you because you fear their reaction. However, repeatedly compromising your self-respect chips away at your confidence and can lead to feelings of shame or resentment. DBT helps you develop the courage and skills to uphold your personal boundaries and values. Here's where the dialectical part of DBT truly shines. These three goals often feel like they're in conflict. You might want to get what you want, objective effectiveness, but fear that being too direct will damage the relationship effectiveness. Or you might want to maintain your self-respect, but worry that standing up for yourself will upset someone important to you. It's rarely possible to achieve all three goals perfectly in every single interaction, and trying to do so can lead to paralysis or frustration. The wisdom of DBT lies in recognizing that you can't always have everything. Instead, it teaches you to identify which goal is the most important in any given situation. Before you step into a challenging conversation, take a moment to pause and ask yourself, what is my top priority here? Is it crucial that I get my specific need met, even if it slightly strains the relationship? Or is maintaining the relationship absolutely paramount, even if it means I don't get exactly what I wanted this time? Clarifying your primary goal provides a clear direction for your communication. For instance, if a friend consistently cancels plans last minute, your objective goal might be to get them to stop doing that. But if this friend is going through a tough time, your relationship goal, maintaining support, might take precedence, meaning you approach the conversation with more gentleness, even if it delays a direct confrontation. Conversely, if a boundary is being repeatedly crossed in a way that erodes your self-respect, then upholding that boundary might become the top priority, even if it causes temporary discomfort in the relationship. The situation dictates the priority. Understanding these interpersonal goals is the foundation for navigating your relationships with greater skill and confidence. It's not about becoming a perfect communicator overnight, but about learning to be deliberate and wise in how you interact with the world around you. As we move forward, we'll explore specific DBT skills like Dear Man, Give, and Fast, which are powerful tools designed to help you achieve these very goals in practical, real-life situations. Get ready to transform your interactions and build stronger, more fulfilling connections. Assertiveness skills. Dear Man. Navigating interpersonal relationships can often feel like walking a tightrope, especially when your needs clash with someone else's. It's a common struggle to find the right balance between standing firm in your own truth and maintaining respectful connections with others. We might swing between being overly passive, where we let our needs go unheard, and becoming aggressive, which can damage relationships and leave us feeling regretful. The key lies in assertiveness, the ability to communicate your thoughts, feelings, and needs clearly and respectfully without infringing on the rights of others. Assertiveness isn't about winning every argument or always getting your way. It's about advocating for yourself in a way that honors both your dignity and the dignity of the other person. This skill is foundational to healthy relationships, allowing you to set boundaries, express opinions, and make requests effectively. It helps reduce resentment, improve communication, and build mutual respect. Fortunately, assertiveness is a skill that can be learned and honed with practice, and DBT offers a powerful framework to guide you through this process. One of the most effective tools for mastering assertiveness in DBT is the Dear Man skill. This acronym provides a step-by-step guide for making requests, saying no, and generally improving your interpersonal effectiveness in challenging situations. Think of Dear Man as your personal script for navigating tough conversations with grace and purpose. Each letter represents a crucial component that, when put together, forms a comprehensive and respectful approach to expressing yourself and achieving your goals. Let's break down the first letter, D for describe. This step asks you to simply state the facts of the current situation, sticking to what is objective, observable, and verifiable. Avoid judgments, assumptions, or accusations. Just lay out the concrete details as if you were reporting an event. For instance, instead of saying, "You always interrupt me," you might say, "When we were talking earlier, I noticed I couldn't finish my sentence." Focusing on facts helps keep the conversation grounded and less likely to escalate into an argument, setting a calm foundation for your message. Describing the situation clearly and neutrally is critical because it creates a shared understanding of the problem without assigning blame. It's about presenting the what without immediately jumping to the why or who is at fault. For example, if a friend consistently arrives late, a factual description would be, "You arrived 20 minutes after we agreed to meet." This is far more effective than, "You're so inconsiderate for always being late," which immediately puts the other person on the defensive. Keep your language simple, direct, and focused on the observable reality. The next step is E for express. After describing the facts, it's vital to express your feelings and opinions about the situation. This is where you use I statements to communicate your internal experience without blaming or accusing the other person. Instead of saying, "You make me angry," which implies they are responsible for your emotions, try, "I feel frustrated when I can't finish my thoughts." This takes ownership of your feelings and helps the other person understand the impact of their actions on you. Expressing your feelings effectively involves being specific about what you're experiencing. Is it frustration, sadness, annoyance, or worry? Naming your emotion precisely helps others empathize and understand your perspective more fully. Remember, your feelings are valid, and sharing them openly is a powerful way to connect and communicate your needs. When you express yourself with I statements, you invite understanding rather than defensiveness, paving the way for a more productive dialogue. Following express is A for assert. This is the part where you clearly and directly ask for what you want or refuse what you don't want. Your request should be specific, actionable, and unambiguous. Don't beat around the bush or expect the other person to read your mind. For example, if you described arriving late and expressed frustration, your assertion might be, "I would like you to arrive on time for our next meeting," or, "Could you please text me if you're running late?" Asserting your needs means being straightforward, but not demanding. It's about stating your preference or boundary with respect and firmness. Avoid apologizing for your request or framing it as a question if it's truly a request you want met. Your assertion should be a clear statement of what you need to happen. This step empowers you to take control of your situation and communicate your expectations directly, ensuring there's no confusion about what you are seeking. The fourth component is R for reinforce. Here you explain the positive outcomes for the other person or the relationship if your request is met. This isn't about bribing, but about highlighting the benefits of their cooperation, giving them a good reason to agree. For example, you might say, "If we can meet on time, we'll have more time to enjoy our meal together." Or, "When we communicate effectively, our friendship feels stronger and more enjoyable for both of us." Reinforcing the positive consequences helps motivate the other person to meet your request by showing them what's in it for them, or how it benefits the relationship as a whole. It transforms your request from a demand into an opportunity for mutual gain and improved connection. People are often more willing to cooperate when they understand how their actions contribute to a positive shared experience. This step underscores the collaborative nature of healthy interactions. Next, we have the first M for mindful. This aspect of Dear Man reminds you to stay focused on your objective throughout the conversation, even if things get challenging. It's easy to get sidetracked by tangents, criticisms, or old arguments when emotions run high. However, remaining mindful means gently bringing your attention back to your goal whenever you notice yourself drifting. If the other person tries to change the subject, calmly redirect the conversation back to your original request. Staying mindful also involves observing your own reactions and resisting the urge to react impulsively. If you start to feel angry or defensive, take a deep breath and remind yourself of your purpose. You might need to use some distress tolerance skills in the moment to keep your emotions from derailing your assertiveness. The goal is to stick to your script and avoid getting pulled into unproductive debates, ensuring your message remains clear and heard. The first A stands for appear confident. Even if you're feeling nervous inside, projecting confidence through your nonverbal communication can significantly impact how your message is received. This means maintaining good eye contact, standing or sitting with an open posture, and using a calm, steady tone of voice. Avoid fidgeting, mumbling, or looking away, as these actions can signal uncertainty and undermine your message. Appearing confident doesn't mean being aggressive or intimidating. It means conveying a sense of self-respect and conviction in what you're saying. Your body language speaks volumes, often more loudly than your words. Practice in front of a mirror or with a trusted friend to ensure your nonverbal cues align with your assertive message. This congruence helps others take your requests seriously and shows that you believe in the validity of your own needs. Finally, we arrive at N for negotiate. Be open to compromise and finding a solution that works for everyone involved. While it's important to assert your needs, sometimes a win-win solution requires flexibility. Be prepared to offer alternatives, reduce your request, or explore different ways to meet both your needs and the other person's. For example, if your friend can't meet exactly on time, perhaps you could suggest meeting 5 minutes later or texting each other updates. Negotiating shows respect for the other person's needs and fosters a collaborative spirit. It's about finding a middle ground where both parties feel heard and valued, rather than one person winning and the other losing. This might involve brainstorming solutions together or being willing to give a little to get a little. Remember, the ultimate goal is to achieve your objective while maintaining or even improving the relationship, and negotiation is key to that balance. Mastering the Dear Man skill takes practice, patience, and self-compassion. You won't get it perfect every time, and that's completely okay. Each attempt is an opportunity to learn and refine your approach. By systematically applying these steps, you empower yourself to communicate more effectively, advocate for your needs, and build stronger, more respectful relationships in all areas of your life. Start small, celebrate your progress, and trust in your growing ability to be assertive and heard. Maintaining relationships. Give. While the Dear Man skills empower you to effectively ask for what you need or say no, sometimes getting your point across isn't enough. We also need to consider how we deliver that message. Think about it. You might get exactly what you asked for, but if you leave the other person feeling attacked, disrespected, or unheard, what have you truly gained? Strong relationships are built on mutual respect and positive interactions, not just successful negotiations. This is where the give skills come into play, offering a compassionate and effective framework for maintaining and strengthening the bonds that matter most. Skills are your guide to communicating in a way that cherishes your relationships, each to you. The gifts given during difficult conversations. They ensure that while you advocate for yourself, you're also nurturing the connection rather than labeling or blaming the other person, fostering an open atmosphere for connection. Being gentle also involves refraining from any physical aggression or intimidation, which goes without saying, but it extends to avoiding passive-aggressive behaviors like sarcasm or eye-rolling. These subtle acts can be just as damaging as outright attacks, chipping away at trust and respect over time. When you speak gently, you signal that you value the relationship and are committed to finding a resolution, rather than just winning an argument. It's about creating a safe space where honesty can thrive without fear of immediate retaliation or shame. Next, the I in give means being interested. This isn't just about waiting for your turn to speak. It's about genuinely listening to what the other person is saying and showing them that you care. Ask questions, make eye contact, and nod to show you're engaged. When you actively listen, you're not just gathering information, you're communicating respect and a desire to understand their perspective, even if it differs greatly from your own. This kind of focused attention makes people feel valued and important, strengthening their connection to you. Showing interest also involves putting aside distractions and truly focusing on the conversation at hand. Resist the urge to check your phone, formulate your next argument, or let your mind wander. Instead, try to understand the emotions and thoughts behind their words. You might even paraphrase what they've said to confirm your understanding, like, "So, if I'm hearing you right, you're feeling frustrated because..." This demonstrates that you're truly processing their message and not just going through the motions, which can dramatically improve communication. The V in give stands for validate. Validation is about acknowledging and accepting the other person's feelings, thoughts, and behaviors as understandable, given their situation. It doesn't mean you agree with them or condone their actions. It simply means you recognize their experience as real and legitimate for them. For example, if someone says they're upset about something that seems minor to you, you might say, "I can see why that would be frustrating for you," instead of dismissing their feelings. This simple act can de-escalate tension and foster empathy. Validating someone's experience helps them feel seen and understood, which is a fundamental human need. When people feel validated, they are often more open to hearing your perspective and finding common ground. Avoid phrases that invalidate, such as "you shouldn't feel that way" or "that's silly." Instead, try to put yourself in their shoes and imagine how they might be feeling, then express that understanding. Even if you don't fully grasp their perspective, acknowledging their emotional reality can bridge gaps and build trust. Finally, the E in give represents using an easy manner. This means approaching interactions with a relaxed, positive attitude, using humor when appropriate, and being lighthearted. It's about making yourself approachable and creating a comfortable atmosphere for communication. When you're tense, rigid, or overly serious, it can make others feel on edge and less willing to engage openly. A relaxed demeanor can signal that you're open to collaboration and not looking for a fight. An easy manner also involves being flexible and willing to compromise, rather than being stuck on your own agenda. This doesn't mean giving in on everything, but rather being open to different solutions and showing a willingness to work together. Use a friendly tone, smile when appropriate, and maintain an open body posture. These nonverbal cues can significantly impact how your message is received, making conversations feel less like an interrogation and more like a supportive exchange between two people. Practicing give skills isn't about being nice at your own expense. It's about being effective in your relationships. When you are gentle, interested, validating, and maintain an easy manner, you create an environment where others are more likely to listen to you, respect your boundaries, and meet your needs. These skills help you navigate disagreements without damaging the underlying relationship, ensuring that your connections remain strong and resilient, even in the face of challenges. Remember, the give skills work hand in hand with your assertiveness skills. Once you've used "Dear Man" to clarify what you want, applying give helps you deliver that message in a way that preserves and even enhances your relationships. It's a powerful combination that allows you to be both effective in getting your needs met and skillful in maintaining the vital connections in your life. By integrating these practices, you'll find yourself building stronger, more fulfilling relationships, grounded in mutual respect and genuine understanding. Maintaining self-respect. Fast. We've explored how to maintain important relationships using the give skill, focusing on being gentle, interested, validating, and easygoing. While those qualities are essential for fostering connection, there's another crucial piece to the puzzle of healthy interactions: preserving your own self-respect. It's not always easy to balance being kind and understanding with standing firm on your personal boundaries and values. Sometimes, in an effort to please others or avoid conflict, we might inadvertently sacrifice a part of ourselves, leading to feelings of resentment or regret later on. That's where the DBT skill of FAST comes in, offering a clear framework to navigate social situations while honoring who you are. FAST provides a powerful set of guidelines to ensure that you walk away from any interaction feeling good about yourself without compromising your integrity or dignity. This skill is about advocating for yourself in a way that is both effective and self-affirming. Thinking about self-respect, it's more than just feeling good about yourself. It's about acting in ways that align with your deepest convictions and moral compass. When you consistently disregard your own needs or values, even for the sake of others, it sends a message to yourself that you are not as important. Over time, this can chip away at your confidence and lead to a sense of emptiness or frustration. Maintaining self-respect means recognizing your inherent worth and treating yourself with the same care and consideration you would offer to a cherished friend. It's about setting boundaries that protect your well-being and speaking up for what you believe is right, even when it feels uncomfortable. This internal compass guides you towards choices that foster long-term emotional health and authentic relationships. The FAST acronym stands for FAIR, apologies, no excessive apologies, stick to your values, and truthful. Each letter represents a vital principle for interacting with others in a way that respects both yourself and the other person involved. It's a tool designed to help you communicate your needs and desires effectively without being aggressive or passive. By intentionally practicing these 4 principles, you can navigate even the most challenging conversations with grace and strength. This skill empowers you to stand tall in your interactions, knowing you've acted with integrity and self-awareness. Let's break down each component of FAST to understand how you can apply it in your daily life. Being fair in the context of FAST means being fair to both yourself and others in any given situation. It doesn't mean you should always give in, nor does it mean you should always demand your way. Instead, it's about seeking a balance where everyone's legitimate needs and perspectives are considered. This might involve acknowledging the other person's point of view, even if you don't agree with it completely, while still firmly stating your own. It also means not apologizing for having needs or for standing up for your rights when they are reasonable. For example, if a friend consistently cancels plans last minute, being fair might involve expressing your frustration calmly and suggesting a new plan that works for both of you, rather than just silently accepting it or exploding in anger. It's about finding that middle ground where respect for all parties is evident. To practice being fair, you might ask yourself, am I treating the other person how I would want to be treated in this situation? And am I treating myself with the same respect I would give to someone else? This dual perspective helps prevent you from becoming overly self-sacrificing or overly demanding. It involves understanding that while your feelings and needs are valid, so are theirs. Strive for a solution or a conversation that honors both sides, even if the outcome isn't exactly what you initially hoped for. Being fair also means avoiding assumptions and instead seeking clarity, ensuring that your actions are based on actual information rather than speculation. This thoughtful approach fosters mutual understanding and reduces unnecessary conflict. The A in FAST reminds us to avoid excessive apologies, meaning you should only apologize when you have actually done something wrong. Many people, especially those who struggle with self-esteem or fear conflict, tend to apologize constantly, even for things that are not their fault. Saying I'm sorry for existing, for having a different opinion, or for asking for what you need can inadvertently diminish your self-worth. This habit can make you appear less confident and signal to others that your needs are less important. A genuine apology, when warranted, is a sign of strength and humility, but an unnecessary apology often undermines your position and self-respect. Pause before you say I'm sorry and ask yourself if an apology is truly merited in this moment. Think about the impact of your words. If you accidentally bump into someone, a quick "excuse me" or "my apologies" is appropriate and polite. However, if you are simply stating a boundary, like I can't take on that extra task right now, adding I'm so sorry, I really wish I could, might weaken your message. You are allowed to have boundaries and needs without feeling guilty or needing to apologize for them. Excessive apologies can also make others question your sincerity when a real apology is due. By reserving your apologies for genuine mistakes, you ensure that they carry their full weight and communicate true remorse when it's necessary. This careful consideration elevates your communication and reinforces your self-respect. The S in FAST is about sticking to your values, meaning acting in a way that aligns with your personal beliefs and what you consider important. Before entering a difficult conversation or making a decision, it's helpful to briefly reflect on what truly matters to you in that situation. Are you prioritizing honesty, kindness, integrity, or perhaps fairness? When you compromise your core values just to avoid disapproval or to gain temporary acceptance, you often pay a heavy price in terms of self-respect. This doesn't mean being rigid or unwilling to compromise on minor points, but it does mean holding firm on the principles that define who you are. Your values are your internal compass, guiding you toward choices that build a life you can be proud of. Living authentically according to your values builds a strong sense of internal peace and integrity. For instance, if honesty is a core value, consistently telling the truth, even when it's difficult, will reinforce your self-respect. If kindness is paramount, ensuring your actions reflect compassion, even in conflict, will strengthen your sense of self. When your actions align with your internal code, you experience less internal conflict and greater emotional stability. This alignment allows you to look yourself in the mirror and know that you are living a life that is true to you, regardless of external pressures. It's about cultivating a deep sense of trust in yourself and your ethical framework. Finally, the T in FAST stands for being truthful, which means avoiding lies, exaggerations, or acting helpless when you are not. While it might seem easier in the short term to bend the truth or exaggerate a situation to get what you want, these actions ultimately erode your self-respect and damage your credibility with others. Being truthful builds trust and fosters genuine connections, both with yourself and with those around you. It's about presenting facts honestly and owning your capabilities, rather than pretending to be weaker or more vulnerable than you are to manipulate a situation. Authenticity is a cornerstone of self-respect, and it begins with being honest in your communications. Being truthful doesn't mean you have to be brutally blunt or share every single thought. It means communicating clearly and accurately without deception. If you say you can't do something, make sure it's genuinely because you cannot, not because you simply don't want. T2 and are making an excuse. Similarly, avoid exaggerating your emotional state or the impact of an event to gain sympathy or attention. When you consistently speak your truth, you build a reputation for reliability and integrity, which in turn boosts your self-respect and the respect others have for you. This commitment to honesty simplifies your interactions and strengthens your relationships over time. By consciously applying the FAST skills, being fair, avoiding excessive apologies, sticking to your values, and being truthful, you actively build and maintain your self-respect in every interaction. These principles empower you to assert yourself effectively while honoring your personal integrity, even in challenging situations. Remember, self-respect is not about being selfish. It's about recognizing your inherent worth and ensuring your actions reflect that value. Mastering FAST helps you navigate relationships with confidence, knowing you've represented yourself authentically and respectfully. This leads to a more fulfilling life where your actions align with your deepest sense of self, fostering stronger connections and inner peace. Navigating difficult conversations. Let's be honest, the phrase, "we need to talk," often sends a shiver down our spine, doesn't it? Difficult conversations are an inescapable part of life, whether they involve a partner, a family member, a friend, or a coworker. They can feel like walking on eggshells, fraught with potential misunderstandings and emotional landmines. Many of us would rather avoid them entirely, hoping the issue will magically resolve itself. But experience teaches us that avoidance usually makes things worse. Unaddressed problems tend to fester, leading to resentment, passive aggression, and a slow erosion of trust. This section is designed to equip you with the courage and the practical skills to navigate these tricky waters with greater confidence and clarity. It's about facing discomfort head-on, not running from it, to build stronger, more authentic connections in every area of your life. So, why do we dread these conversations so much? The reasons are deeply human and completely understandable. Often it's a profound fear of conflict itself, a worry about hurting someone's feelings, or an anxiety about being misunderstood. We might fear rejection, worry about saying the wrong thing in the heat of the moment, or simply feel overwhelmed by the intensity of potential emotions. There's also the concern about damaging a relationship that we deeply value, or the fear of not getting our own point across effectively, leaving us feeling unheard. These anxieties are not only normal, but valid, yet they don't have to paralyze us or dictate our silence. Acknowledging and understanding these underlying fears is actually the very first crucial step toward effectively overcoming them. Consider the true cost of consistently avoiding these essential discussions. When issues remain unspoken, they don't just disappear. Instead, they tend to grow larger and become far more complex over time, much like a small, unnoticed crack in a wall that eventually widens into a significant structural problem. This pattern of avoidance can manifest as simmering resentment that brews beneath the surface, leading to subtle passive-aggressive behaviors or a pervasive, unspoken tension within a relationship. Ultimately, this constant sidestepping of vital topics erodes genuine trust and prevents the development of true intimacy, leaving everyone involved feeling increasingly isolated, unheard, and emotionally disconnected from one another. This is precisely where the power of your Dialectical Behavior Therapy (DBT) skills comes into play, acting as your reliable compass in these challenging moments. Remember, the tools you've diligently learned in the Interpersonal Effectiveness module, such as Dear Man for confidently asserting your needs, Give for maintaining healthy relationships, and Fast for upholding your crucial self-respect, are far more than just abstract concepts. These aren't merely isolated techniques to be practiced in a vacuum. Instead, they form a cohesive and incredibly powerful toolkit that can fundamentally transform how you approach and successfully manage even the most daunting and sensitive discussions. Think of these integrated skills as your comprehensive personal navigation system, specifically designed to guide you through the trickiest and most intricate relational terrain you might encounter. When facing a potentially difficult conversation, preparation is not just important, it's absolutely paramount. A spontaneous discussion, fueled by raw, immediate emotion, rarely yields positive or productive results. Instead, take a dedicated moment to pause and thoughtfully consider what you genuinely want to achieve from this interaction. Clearly define your main points, and carefully think about how you wish to express yourself in a way that is both clear and respectful. It's also incredibly beneficial to consider the other person's perspective and anticipate their potential reactions, which allows you to prepare for various scenarios and respond more thoughtfully. This mental rehearsal isn't about rigidly scripting every word, but rather about gaining clarity on your intentions and desired outcomes, setting a solid foundation for success. As you prepare, consciously connect back to the Dear Man skill by clearly defining your objective. What is the specific goal you aim to achieve with this particular conversation? Is your primary intention to describe a situation factually, express your feelings clearly, assert a specific need or boundary, or reinforce the positive outcomes of a resolution? Being crystal clear about your main objective is like setting a precise destination before embarking on a journey. It helps you stay focused, prevents the conversation from veering off topic into unproductive tangents, and ensures that your efforts are directed towards a meaningful outcome. Having this defined purpose provides a vital anchor when emotions inevitably begin to swirl. Beyond just what you say, the practical aspects of setting the stage for your conversation are equally vital. Timing, for instance, is absolutely everything. Avoid launching into heavy topics when either person is visibly stressed, exhausted, or significantly distracted by other demands. Seek out a private, quiet space where interruptions will be minimal, allowing both individuals to feel secure enough to focus entirely on the discussion at hand. A calm and neutral environment inherently sets a far more conducive stage for constructive dialogue than a rushed, impromptu chat in a bustling or public setting. Initiating by simply asking, "Is now a good time to talk about something important?" can make an enormous difference in how the conversation begins and progresses. When you're ready to initiate the discussion, approach it with genuine care and a clear focus on I statements, avoiding any language that immediately puts the other person on the defensive. Instead of launching into accusations or generalizations, begin by factually describing the specific situation and clearly expressing your own feelings related to it. For example, Starting with phrases like, "I've noticed that," or "I feel concerned when," is significantly less confrontational and more inviting than using accusatory statements such as, "You always," or "Why do you never?" This gentle and personal approach sets a collaborative tone, encouraging an open dialogue rather than triggering an immediate, protective defensiveness from the other person. Once you've shared your perspective, the crucial next step is to truly engage in active listening, drawing directly from the gentle, interested, validate, easy manner aspects of your give skill. This means genuinely listening to what the other person has to say, without interrupting them, or mentally formulating your utal while they are still speaking. Demonstrate your sincere interest in their viewpoint through attentive body language, maintaining appropriate eye contact, and then reflect back what you hear in your own words to ensure complete understanding. Remember, listening is not merely passively waiting for your turn to speak. It is an active and empathetic process of making the other person feel genuinely heard, respected, and understood, which is fundamental to productive communication. Even if you find yourself in strong disagreement with the other person's perspective or actions, it is profoundly important to validate their feelings and their viewpoint. Validation does not equate to agreement or condoning their behavior. Rather, it simply means acknowledging that their experience and emotions are real and understandable for them. Phrases like, "I can genuinely see why you feel frustrated about that situation," or "It makes perfect sense that you'd be upset given what happened," can effectively disarm tension and build a vital bridge for continued communication. This powerful step, derived directly from the give skill, is incredibly effective in de-escalating potential conflict and fostering a more open exchange, even when opinions diverge sharply. A significant internal challenge during these conversations is managing your own emotions, especially when the discussion becomes heated or intense. It's incredibly easy to get swept away by powerful feelings like anger, frustration, or anxiety, which can quickly derail any productive dialogue. This is precisely where your distress tolerance skills become invaluable. Techniques such as mindful breathing, engaging in grounding exercises, or even requesting a brief, mutually agreed upon pause can prevent you from reacting impulsively or saying something you'll later regret. Remember, while you cannot control the other person's emotional reactions, you absolutely possess the power to control your own, maintaining your composure and staying centered even amidst the storm. During these intense moments, it's crucial to stay focused on the main issue at hand and consciously resist the urge to bring up old grievances or unrelated past events. Introducing extraneous issues can quickly derail the entire discussion, making it feel overwhelming and unproductive. If the conversation starts to wander or becomes overly accusatory, gently but firmly redirect it back to the agreed-upon topic. This also directly ties into the FAST skill for maintaining your self-respect. Be fair in your approach, avoid apologizing unnecessarily for expressing your needs, stick to your core values, and be truthful without being aggressive. Asserting your needs and boundaries respectfully ensures you're not sacrificing your self-worth for a false sense of temporary peace. Once both sides have had the opportunity to be fully heard and genuinely validated, the conversation can then shift productively towards finding a solution or identifying common ground. Remember, the ultimate goal here is not for one person to win and the other to lose. Rather, it's about engaging in collaborative problem solving, where both parties work together towards a mutually beneficial outcome. Brainstorm various options together, openly considering what each of you can realistically offer or concede in the situation. Sometimes, the initial solution may not be absolutely perfect, but a workable compromise that genuinely respects both individuals' needs can significantly strengthen the relationship and pave the way for future cooperation. It is perfectly acceptable and often highly advisable to take a deliberate break if a conversation becomes too intense, overly emotional, or simply unproductive. If you feel yourselves going in circles or emotions escalating, suggest a pause. Agree on a specific time to reconvene, perhaps after both parties have had a chance to cool down, reflect on what's been said, and gather their thoughts, saying, something like, "I need a few minutes to process this. Can we please pick this up in an hour?" is a clear sign of emotional intelligence and self-awareness, not a weakness. This strategic pause prevents further escalation and creates space for a more rational, constructive discussion once everyone has regained their composure. After navigating a difficult conversation, regardless of its immediate outcome, remember to practice self-compassion. These types of discussions can be incredibly draining emotionally, and it's essential to acknowledge your effort, courage, and vulnerability in engaging with them. Take time to reflect on what aspects of the conversation went well and what you might consider doing differently in future interactions, but avoid harsh self-criticism or dwelling on perceived flaws. Every difficult conversation, whether it feels like a success or a struggle, offers invaluable learning opportunities for personal growth and the refinement of your communication skills. Be kind to yourself through the process. Ultimately, the ability to navigate difficult conversations effectively is a cornerstone for building healthier, more authentic, and resilient relationships in your life. When you can openly and respectfully address challenging topics, even when they are uncomfortable, it builds profound trust and demonstrates that your relationship possesses the strength and capacity to withstand discomfort and disagreement. This willingness to engage with honesty and skill fosters deeper understanding, mutual respect, and creates an enduring foundation of resilience. It proves that true connection means facing challenges together, learning from them, and growing stronger, rather than simply enjoying the easy, conflict-free moments. Finally, always remember that like any skill worth mastering, your ability to navigate difficult conversations will improve significantly with consistent practice. You won't achieve perfection overnight, and some conversations will undoubtedly remain more challenging than others, pushing your boundaries. Be patient and compassionate with yourself throughout this journey, and make sure to celebrate every small victory and moment of progress along the way. Each time you consciously attempt to engage in a difficult conversation using your comprehensive DBT toolkit, you are actively strengthening your emotional muscles and moving closer to cultivating a life characterized by greater awareness, enhanced emotional regulation, and truly fulfilling, meaningful relationships. Keep practicing, keep learning, and keep growing into your most capable self.